Hi guys, how are you? This is our math lesson for today, Thursday, April 15th. We're going to start a new chapter today, chapter 11. So before we begin, let's go ahead and watch the video that goes with our new chapter.
I love sports. Playing sports helps teach us how to work as a team, keeps us active, and provides lots of exercise. Plus, there's so much fun. My favorite sport is soccer. Last week, I scored my very first goal. I was so excited. I wonder how wide the soccer goal is. Let's measure. Which measuring tool would you use? This is a large object, so we'll use the measuring tape to find the width. Wow, the soccer goal is 12 feet wide. Great job! What else can we measure?
Okay guys, so let's go ahead and look at our math books. Go ahead and get that out. And by the way, anytime you need to pause this so you can get your stuff, that's absolutely fine. It's at your pace. So go ahead and find your math book, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tear out the first few pages. Okay, so actually we're going to tear out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So again, if you need to pause this, go ahead. And then keep your math book because we're going to go on to our lesson, but let's talk about these pages first, okay? All right, so you don't need this page, but we are going to be working on in this chapter measurement, customary measurement and metric measurement. So you don't need this page. We're going to work on Am I Ready here in just a moment, so keep that to the side. And then your vocabulary cards, you're going to want to keep to help you remember. These are some of the words we're going to go over. We're going to go over, I'm going to do it in order that we see them. We're going to go over the word, go over measure. Okay. We're going to go over inch, estimate or estimate. We're going to go over length. Length is how long something is, okay, from one end to the other. We're going to be talking about feet, not the feet you put your shoes on, but feet with a measurement. We're going to be talking about centimeters, meters, and yards. And yard is not something in front of your house. It's a measurement. Okay, so those are the vocabulary words. You want to keep those around so you can look at them. Okay, and we are not going to be using the foldable, so you can go ahead and get rid of that. So if you need to pause, go ahead and pause and get everything in order. Once you are ready, I'd like you to pause this and take a moment to try these problems in iReady. So go ahead and pause it now. Work on these 6 problems, and then unpause when you're ready, and I'm going to go over them. Okay, I'm going to assume you've paused, and I'm going to assume you've done these, and I hope you have. Remember, we're talking about being honest and doing the thing that you need to do even when no one's looking. So 4 plus 8 is 12. So regroup the 1, and then 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. So this is 52. Oh, I've got a subtraction, so I got to be careful about that. 6 minus 7, I can't do that because there's more on the floor than 6, right? I'm going to go next door and take 110 and add 10 more. 16 minus 7 is 9. And then 1 minus 1 is 0, but we don't put that there unless we're talking about time, right? Or minutes. All right, then, oh, I've got an addition sign again. So 8 plus 6 is 14. Put the 4, regroup the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 3 is 7, 74. Measure the length of the object in cubes. So they've lined up cubes next to this pencil, and we just need to say how long this pencil is if we were using cubes to measure. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cubes. We can do that. And these scissors, let's see how many cubes these are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cubes. Okay, and finally, Neil's hand is 5 cubes long. It means if he were to stick his hand out like this and put cubes, then he would need 5 of them. He measures this checkerboard. It is 3 hands long. How many cubes long is the checkerboard? Well, I know that if he puts his hand out, it's going to be 5 cubes long. So I'm not going to draw a hand. I'm going to do this. Kind of like here to here. I'm going to say that's a hand, and that's 5 cubes. And then there's another hand, and I'm going to say that's 5 cubes. And then another hand, and that's 5 cubes. And I did 3 because it says the checkerboard is 3 hands long. So 1, 2, 3, and then each of these hands is 5 cubes. So if I count by 5, 5, 10, 15. The length will be 15 cubes. Okay? All right. And then a couple things on the back here. Vocabulary that we're going to need is compare. We've talked about comparing. Comparing is seeing the difference in something. Now, when we're comparing numbers, we're not saying a 7 is made with only straight lines and a 5 has a curved line. We're subtracting when we're actually comparing numbers. But when we're comparing objects, we're looking to see how they are different and how they are the same. So if we were going to pick out 3 classroom objects, we could do that and put them in order. Okay, so we could, let's see, we pick out, write the longest object, write the shortest objects, and then compare your objects. Okay, so let's see. Let's pick out one of Mrs. Medved's pens, and then let's pick out a paper clip, and let's pick out my scissors. Okay. So here's one of my pens, my Flair pens, my favorite ones. So here's a pen. All right, and then we need a paper clip here. Oops. I thought I had a paper clip. Maybe I don't. Oh, I do. Okay. Sorry, so they're all tingly. Okay, here's a paper clip. So there's a paper clip, and then my scissors. Right, so if we're looking at these, which object is the longest? Well, what do I do? What I'm going to do is put them so their ends match up. So they're all the same place. Do you see that? So if I do that, I can tell that my scissors go past the other ones. So my scissors are the longest. So I'm going to write scissors in here. You guys can write scissors in here on yours. And then when I'm comparing, again, I want the shortest. So let's say, which one's the shortest? The paper clip. It's the smallest, shortest one because the pen goes past it and so do the scissors. So the paper clip is the shortest. So when we are looking at, when we're comparing, we can talk about how long objects are and which one is the longest or has the most length. Or we can talk about how short the objects are, which one's the shortest or has the least length of it. And how did we compare? We lined the objects up. And saw which one had the most length and which, oops, I can't see if I can, and which one had the least length. Right. So now we know what we're talking about in this chapter. We're talking about measurement. We're talking about comparing measurement. We're talking about length and how long something is, which one has the most length, which one has the least length. So now what we're going to do is get our book out again and get out our first lesson in chapter 11. And we're going to tear out the next 3 pages. Okay. Now okay, so we're going to go back to our lesson today. That's not it. Okay, so while this is coming up, I emailed all of my online students' parents last week that you guys would need rulers. So you should have rulers. In-person kids, I put rulers with your pickup materials. The only person that may not have a ruler is Chase, because you got your pickup materials, or you got your materials last week. So anyway, so Chase, if you don't have one, let me know. Okay, so we're going to be working on inches today, and we're just going to go straight through to our lesson. So how can we use an inch ruler to measure objects? That is what we're going to be working on today. So I have in front of me, let me get this on here, I think. I have my ruler here, and it has on the top of my ruler, it has 12 up to 12. Okay, that top part is the inches side. Okay, so ruler is 12 inches long, and so that's why up here, right here, there is a 12. Okay, so that's the inch side. That's the side we're going to be working with for the next few days. The other side that has up to 30, this is the centimeter side, and we will be using that in our chapter as well, just not right now. So the side you're going to want to use is your inches side. Everybody see that? Okay. Now when we measure something, we always put it at the end over here. Sorry, it's backwards for me. Over here where the 0 would be. The 0 is not written there. But that is 0, because if you have something that's there, doesn't have any length to it. Now, some of your rulers might not have this big line. They might have the end be the 0 line. I think most of the new ones, though, because that can get a little bit worn down, have this big long tick mark here. This big long tick mark is the 0. You can tell it's 0 because if I keep going, then I hit 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so this end has the 0. This is going to be 0, and this is where you're going to line up something to measure. That's how we're going to measure something with our rulers, is to put the end of it on the 0 tick mark line, and then the rest of it will go this way. Okay, and then wherever it stops, that will be how long it is. Okay, so let me get back here, hopefully. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of measurement today. We're going to measure a pencil. We're going to measure a stapler. I'm going to have to go grab it. It's over by the window, and a book. Okay. So pencils now, since this is a sharpened pencil, you guys know sharpened pencils can be any length, right? But we're going to use my sharpened pencil. Later on, you're going to use your own. But I'm going to look at this and go, how long do I think this is? An estimate is a guess, a smart guess. It's not just a wild guess. You just can't go, well, this is 10 feet long. You guys know it's not 10 feet long. So it's a smart guess. You guess about how many inches an object is to make an estimate. Okay, now I'm going to show you something else. I want you guys to take your pointer finger and go like this. You see it? Right? Like a little hook. Okay, so from right here to right here, you can use that as a good estimate for an inch. It's not going to be exact, and that's not the purpose of an estimate. It's to get it's a good, smart guess. Okay? So if I wanted to do a guess on this pencil, I would put my knuckle at the end, and I'd go 1, and then move it down to about where it ended. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 6. I'm going to guess 6 inches. Okay? So you guys do this with me, because we're doing this together. So go ahead for the estimate. We're going to put down 6 inches. Okay, so now we're going to get a length, an actual length. So we're going to use our ruler, and we're going to put our pencil on the 0 part of it. Make sure it's about at that 0 point, that 0 tick mark. All right. Oh my goodness, this is not good. This is like doing something in a mirror. It's crazy. Okay, so that's where that is, and let's see where it ends. So it's right in between the 7 and the 8. So I'm going to just say it's about 7 inches. It's not quite exact, but using this ruler I can get a better idea. I'm going to say it's closer to 7. So let's put in here about 7. See how that has that word about? That means estimate. It's about. This length, we're not getting an exact length. We're getting a close length. Okay, let me pause this for a second, go grab my stapler. Okay, so I have my stapler. Got my stapler. Okay, now I'm going to make an estimate about my stapler. Now, a couple things. I can use my knuckles again and do that. I also can use the pencil I just did, because now I know that it's 7, a little more than 7. Look at that. So if I use my pencil even, I could make an estimate, because I know this is longer, a little bit longer than 7. And when I put this up here, you can see me down there, it's just, this pencil is just a bit longer than my stapler, if you see it. Okay, so I'm going to guess that my stapler is about 7 inches. And now we're going to take an actual measurement, or a close measurement. So let's see here. I'm going to put it on the end. Maybe. Get it as close as I can. Okay, and what are we at? We are almost at exactly 7. So that estimate was a little bit closer. But of course I used something I kind of knew. All right, and then a book, the height of a book. Let's use our reader. We'll use a reader. Okay, so hey, I'm going to use my pencil again. Give me a good idea. Or, again, you can do this. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9. We'll just do that. Let's say 9. It's an estimate. You're just guessing, but you're making a smart guess, not a wild guess. Okay, so now we're going to use the ruler, and in this case, let's go ahead and put the ruler up here. You see that? And at the bottom, it's pretty close to the 9, isn't it? Not exactly, but pretty close. So we're going to say it's about 9. So yay for us, we're pretty close. All right, now it's okay if you're not close. If you're making really wild estimates, then you're not going to be close. So the idea is to make an estimate about as close as you can get it. All right. So now let's talk about using a little bit of thinking with this. Laura is using a hiking stick. Have you guys ever seen a hiking stick? It's like a walking stick. It just helps you to maintain your balance and sometimes give you a little extra help getting up a hill. The hiking stick is 47 inches long. Roshan's, so let me underline here, Laura's is 47 inches. Roshan's is using a hiking stick that is 14 inches longer than Laura's. And then Carly's hiking stick is 7 inches shorter than Roshan's. So how long is each one? All right, well, that's pretty easy. So Laura's is, we know from the problem that hers is 47 inches. We know that Rashawn's is 14 inches longer than Laura's. So we're going to do Laura's plus 14. And if we do that, I'm going to just do this on my in my brain. So 7 plus 4 is 11. And if I regroup the 1, then I'm going to have 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 1 more is 6. So we're going to have 61. So Roshan's is 61. And then Carly is 7 inches shorter. So then we would do 61 minus 7. Oops. Get that over where it needs to be. So we can think about this. I can't do 1 minus 7. I'm going to cross this out, make this a 5, make this an 11. So my answer will be 11 minus 7 is 4, and then that we made that other one 5. So this is going to be 54. So Carly's is going to be 54. So it's just a matter of thinking, but you have to use your addition and subtraction. Remember what we learned about that earlier. All right, so let's look now at our, our story. Problem here on the front. So we're going to use our rulers. We're not going to use colored tiles right now because y'all don't have them at home. So let's get our ruler out, okay? And we're going to line up the 0 line at the end. This is a golf tee at the point there. So do you see my 0 line? You see the point of my golf tee? Okay. And so then I go and I look and see how long this golf tee is, and it ends about at the 2. So for the golf tee, I am going to write 2 inches. Okay. Now for the highlighter, I'm going to go to this knobby thing here and put it on where my 0 tick mark is. And then go all the way down, and I see that it is very, very close to 6. So I'm going to say that that is 6 inches. Again, if I'm going too quickly, you can pause. If you need to pause to see how I'm lining it up, do that. Absolutely. So we got this crayon here, nice new crayon, with our 0 line lined up at the point. And the end goes down here to the 3, so that's about 3 inches. And then I know 2 boys who know what this is. What is this, Gabe, Danny? A hockey puck. So a hockey puck, we're going to measure. Put this here, we're going to measure this at the top of it. So put this 0 tick mark here at the edge. And this is about right in the middle. It's almost exactly right in the middle. So we can either, let's go ahead and just say it's about 3 inches. We'll round up. You also, instead of writing 3, you could do 2, a big 2, and then write a half. So half looks like this, 1, and then a line, and a 2 on the bottom. But the whole thing is about as big as the 2 you make. So this says 2 and a half. But if you'd rather just write 3, you absolutely can. Okay, so that's how we use a ruler to measure inches. Let's turn on the back. It says 1 inch is about the length of a color tile. You can use what you know about inches to estimate the length of an object. Then use an inch ruler to measure it. So here they did an estimate of this glue stick. They said the length is about 3 inches. So you could have used your knuckle and done this, right? Okay, so they guess it's 3 inches. Then they put a ruler next to it, and it is actually about 3 inches. Okay, so we're going to do this. Here, we're going to go ahead and do a crayon box. So you can either use your crayon box, like your pencil box if you would rather, but let's use a crayon box here. So let me grab a crayon box. Actually, I'm going to grab, this is Kira Duskin's. Thank you, Kira. We're going to use this crayon box, and let's make an estimate of it. So if I use my finger, I got 1, 2, 3, maybe 3.5 inches. Okay, so then I can use my ruler and actually measure it. And it is actually closer to 4. So we will say it actually is 4 inches. Okay? And then I'm going to take Kira's pencil box. Thank you, Kira. And let's look at this and make an estimate. So if I use my finger again, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say 8. I don't know. We'll say 8. All right. And now Miss Linda's going to use her ruler again. It's kind of hard because I have there's a shadow. So I could try it this way so you could see it a little better. So I want it to be here. If I can do it upside down, it might be easier. So if I do it here, make sure my 0 mark is lined up there, and then I go all the way to the end, and it is actually about 7.5 inches. So there you go. How do we use a ruler to measure inches? Well, we line up the end of whatever object we're measuring. We line it up with this 0 tick mark, and then we see how long it is. That's all we do. All right, so I want you to take a minute now. You can pause this, and let's do a couple of estimates, but let's see what we have here. So we got a shoe. You guys can do your shoe. Scissors. You can use your scissors. Let's not do a paintbrush, though. That's kind of silly. How about a colored pencil? We're not going to use a paintbrush. Let's say this is a colored pencil. I don't know why they put these silly pictures on here. Like, who uses paintbrushes? I mean, I'd love to, but seriously. Okay, piece of paper. And then you could do your desk or where your table is. So go ahead and do an estimate and then measure. Okay? Go ahead and pause it now and do those things. and then unpause it when you're ready, and then I'll show you what I did, and we'll see kind of where you are. Then we're going to go on to the back and do some of the word problems, okay? All right, so pause it here. Okay. If you are ready, you can unpause it, and I will go over some of this. So let's see. My shoe. I'm going to guess my shoe is 10 inches. Just by looking at it, I'm going to guess 10 inches. Now I'm going to measure my shoe. And it is about, actually, closer to 11 inches. It's actually about 10.5 inches. I'll put 10. Okay. So, however your shoe was, did you get it close? All right, how about scissors? So, I've got scissors here. And I'm going to guess, I'm going to do my knuckle here. 1, 2, maybe 4. Okay. And let's measure. If I measure to this, it's about 5 inches. All right. That's what I got. Colored pencil. Well, again, this is going to depend on how much you've used your pencil, sharpened it. This one has been used a little, but I think I'll take a guess and say it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to measure it. It is about 6.5, I think. It's about 6.5 inches. All right, and then my piece of paper. I actually, I think I know I think it's about 11 inches, and I'll double check. So I'm guessing 11, just because paper has a certain measurement. Oh, nope, this one isn't quite 11, probably because it's not copy paper. So it is about, you can see that, it's about 10.5. Oops, that wasn't very good. Let me just do it right here so you can see it better. See where it went right there? Almost 10.5 exactly. So 10. Remember, when I make my half, I have to make my 1 over my 2. It has to be about the same height, maybe a tad taller than your 10, but you don't want it to be the same size. All right, and then your table. Now this'll really be different. Mine is quite long. It's several rulers long. I'm going to guess it's about, 36 inches. So that would be 3 rulers, because each ruler, remember, is 12 inches long. So I'm going to guess that that's 3. So let me see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. It's almost 48. It's actually like 47 inches. So sort of close. All right, so these aren't going to match up. So if ours didn't match, that's okay. The big thing is I want you to know is to measure using the end of your ruler. Now let's look at the back very quickly and we'll be done. These are the ones that'll be a little more tricky, and you have to think about it, plus you have to use your addition and subtraction skills and make sure you can get the correct answer. So it says Kaya's surfboard must be at least 15 inches longer than 48 inches. Should Kaya choose a surfboard that is 55 inches long or 65 inches long? So here's our question. So in order to find out how long this needs to be, 15 inches longer than 48 inches, I'm going to need to what? Add or subtract? I'm going to need to add, aren't I? Because I have 48 inches and then I have to add on another 15. So that is 13. Regroup the 1, 6. So it needs to be 63 inches. And it says it needs to be at least, which means that has to be the smallest it could be. So which surfboard, oops, I'm sorry, that's not the answer. Which surfboard should she choose? Should she choose 55 inches or 65 inches? Well, it has to be 63 inches at least, so she can't choose the 55-inch one. That'd be way too short. It has to be 65, so 65 is the one she's going to choose. All right. Owen's foot is 6 inches long. His dad's foot is 6 inches longer than Owen's foot. How long is his dad's foot? Here's our question. So we've got 6 inches long, and dad's has an extra 6 inches on it, and 6 plus 6 is 12. So we know that one. All right, and let's do this last one. Carter estimates his math book is 7 inches long. That means he's making a smart guess, right, when he estimates 7 inches. Wyatt estimates it's 15 inches long. The book is 8 inches long. So Carter thought 7, Wyatt thought 15. The book is actually 8 inches long. Question is whose, so we're going to need a name, whose estimate is closer. So if we look, whose is closer? Is Carter's closer at 7 inches or Wyatt at 15? Well, Carter's is closest because 7 is closer to 8 than 15 to 8. So so our answer, the whose, is going to be Carter. So Carter is our answer. And our reasoning is that 7 inches is only 1 inch away from 8. But 15 inches is 7 inches away from 8. That's not very close. So Carter had the best estimate. All right, so tonight for your homework, I've changed this up a little bit, so you need to use what's on Kami. All right, and I've actually included objects in here already too, okay, to give us a better idea. But go ahead and use what's in Kami to help you. You can use your ruler to measure in real life and have fun measuring, guys. Bye.